Hello there, welcome to the news on Nepal television. I am Rosina Rai, starting with the top stories. Election Commission set to publish final voters list today, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. tomorrow, determined for candidacy registration. Ruling coalition parties meeting in Balwata, leaders to fine-tune allocation of seats for upcoming National Assembly elections. At least 11 people killed in Russian missile strike in eastern Ukraine. Deaths includes over 5 children. And Coco Gauff continues her impressive form in the build-up to the Australian Open by reaching the final of the Auckland Classic. Welcome back. Now, news in detail. The Election Commission is set to unveil the final list of voters today for the January 25th National Assembly election to elect 19 members. Having initially released the provisional list on January 5th, the Election Commission has given time for rectifying claims, objections and potential errors in the voter list until yesterday. The final list will be made available on the Commission's website and at the Office of the Election Officer. Nomination registration for candidates is scheduled for tomorrow between 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. In case of complaints against any candidate, they can be filed on January 9. On January 11, following scrutiny of nomination papers and candidates' complaints, the list of candidates will be published. The deadline for candidates to withdraw their candidature is set for January 12, with the final candidate list slated for publication at 2 p.m. on the same day. As per the Election Commission's election schedule, election symbols will be allocated on January 13. Voting is set to take place on January 25th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the designated polling stations. Now to further development, a meeting of the coalition parties to fine-tune the allocation of seats for the upcoming National Assembly election is underway at the Prime Minister's official residence in Balwata. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dal, Nepali Congress President Sherbahadur Dewa, Janata Samajwadi Party Chairman Upendra Yadav and Unified Samajwadi Party Chairman Madhav Kumar Nepal, among others, are present in the meeting. Earlier, the ruling alliance has reached a unanimous decision to abstain from any collaboration with the main opposition party to end the upcoming National Assembly election. The ruling coalition comprising Nepali Congress, CPN Maha Center, Janata Samajwadi Party, Unified Socialist, Nagarik Unmukti Party, Janamat Party, Lokotantrik Samajwadi Party and Rashtriya Janamorcha faces the intricate challenges of navigating seat allocation amid these political dynamics. The meeting of the Central Work Execution Committee of the ruling Nepali Congress is being held today. A meeting of the committee has been called to be held at the party's central office Sanepa at 1 p.m. today, said Nepali Congress Central Office Chief Secretary Krishna Prasad Paudel. The meeting is scheduled to discuss the near-coming National Assembly elections. Time for a short break again. Stay with us. Welcome back. You are watching Nepal Television News. Now, remaining updates. Bird census has started in Chitwan today. Bird Education Society Chitwan has started counting the birds from Rapti River, Guri Rapti, Dumre, Kasara and other areas of East Chitwan. According to the district president of the society, Tikaram Giri, bird census started from Saturday across the country, but it has started in Chitwan from today. Birds will be counted at 9 locations in East Chitwan to be followed by a census in West Chitwan. The census is scheduled to be completed by January 21st. So far, more than 650 species of birds have been found in Chitwan district. Bird counting is taking place in Nepal since 1987. Now, time for international headliners. A Russian missile strike has killed 11 people, including 5 children in eastern Ukraine, local officials have informed. S-300 missiles hit the town of Pokrovsk in Ukrainian-held territory in Donetsk region, the regional governor said. The enemy is cynically hitting civilians, trying to bring as much as misery as possible, Governor Vadim Filaskin posted on Telegram. In his evening video address, President Vladimir Zelensky said Russian forces had targeted residential areas. Russia is yet to comment on that. Before the war, it had a population of about 60,000 people there in the region, recently struck by Russian missile. Now to Mexico. At least 5 people died in Mexico after alleged drone attack. Images also bound vehicles in western Mexico as local officials say they are investigating the deaths of 5 people after an alleged confrontation between drug trafficking gangs in Guerrero State. Guerrero State spokesman Rene Posselt confirmed there was a clash, but denied it was an attack made at the community. He said evidence suggested the violence was a conflict between organized crime groups. Now time for a short break again. Stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now remaining international updates. Bangladeshi Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina cast her ballot in an election guaranteed to give her a 5th term in office after a boycott by opposition parties. The elections comes against a backdrop of pre-election violence and fear for more as the country's main opposition, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party BNP, and other like-minded parties have announced a boycott of the polls. The BNP has called for a 2-day nationwide strike from Saturday. The opposition is boycotting the poll and encouraging the public to refrain from voting due to its allegations regarding the credibility of the elections. It alleges the ruling Awami League has approved of dummy candidates and independents to try to make the election look credible, a claim the ruling party denies. Now to further development, Donald Trump hit the campaign trail Saturday in the first in the nation presidential nominating state of Iowa, vowing to win for the third time as Americans marked the anniversary of the deadly assault on the U.S. Capitol by mobs of his supporters. In a rambling 2-hour speech Saturday to supporters in Newton, Iowa, Trump did not delve into the events of that day, but described those jailed over their roles in the assault as hostages. He has said that if elected, he will pardon many. The runaway leader in the race for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination, Trump was impeached for inciting insurrection and faces multiple felony charges over his conduct leading up to and during the violence. To the more updates before that, let's have a quick look into the highlights of the side. Colombian city holds a traditional blacks and whites carnival. Artists, crowds, people and revelers fill the street of Pasto, southwestern Colombia. During the Black and Whites Carnival, a fusion of different cultural celebrations. It takes place every year from January 2nd to 7th and is on UNESCO's Intangible Heritage List. The Blacks and Whites Carnivals has its origins in the fusion of multiple cultures and expressions. the Andes, the Amazon, and the Pacific culture. It coincides with the celebrations of the moon, which is reminiscent of the rituals performed by the pastors and the Sikalagans at harvest time. Honored the moon with dances, and in other rituals they prayed to the sun to protect their crops. Time for sports. Coco Gauff continued her impressive form into the build-up to the Australian Open by reaching the final of the Auckland Classic. US Open champion Gauff 19 beat fellow American Emma Navarro 6-3, 6-1 in the semi-finals. The world number 3, who is defending the Auckland title she won in 2023, will face Ukraine's Elena Stivalona in Sunday's final. The Australian Open starts in Melbourne on 14 January, and Svitolina needed 2 medical timeouts in her 2-6, 6-4, 6-3 victory against the unseeded Wang Siyu. Gauff has not dropped a set throughout the tournament in New Zealand, and her form suggests she is on course to improve her Australian Open record, in which she has never made it past the 4th round. With this, we come to the end of this news bulletin, but before we say goodbye, quick reminders of the top stories again. Election Commission set to publish final voters list today 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. tomorrow, determined for candidacy registration. Ruling coalition parties meeting in Balwata, leaders to fine-tune allocation of seats for upcoming National Assembly elections. At least 11 people killed in Russian missile strike in eastern Ukraine. Deaths includes 5 children. And Coco Gauff continues her impressive form in the build-up to the Australian Open by reaching the final of the Auckland Classic. Well, this is all we have for this moment. Until our next bulletin, keep watching Nepal television. Have a good day ahead. Namaste.